all you beautiful people out there. I am Mrs. Realistic. Welcome once again back to the channel. We've got some more comedy gold with Louis C.K., of course, but maybe. It was uploaded 11 years ago. I don't know if this is actually 11 years ago, but I brought tissues today because I was laughing so hard on the last one. If you like what I do, please don't forget to like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, click the bell for notifications so that you will always know when another video comes out. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Everybody has a competition in their brain of good thoughts and bad thoughts. Hopefully the good thoughts win. For me, I always have both. I have like the thing I believe, the good thing. That's the thing I believe. And then there's this thing. And I don't believe it, but it is there. It's always this thing and then this thing. It's become a category in my brain that I call, of course, but maybe.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Okay, like of course, children who have nut allergies need to be protected. Of course. We have to segregate their food from nuts, have their medication available at all times, and anybody who manufactures or serves food needs to be aware of deadly nut allergies. Of course. But maybe if touching a nut kills you, you're supposed to die. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Jesus. I have a nephew who has that. I'd be devastated if something happened to him. But maybe, if we all just do this for 1 year, we're done with nut allergies forever. No, of course not. Of course, if you're fighting for your country and you get shot or hurt, it's a terrible tragedy. Of course. Of course. But maybe if you pick up a gun and go to another country and you get shot, it's not that weird. Maybe if you get shot by the dude you were just shooting at, it's a tiny bit your fault.
Tiptoe.
Of course, slavery is the worst thing that ever happened.
Oh no.
Listen, you all clapped for dead kids with the nuts. For kids dying from nuts, you applauded. So you're in this with me now, do you understand? You don't get to cherry pick. Those kids did nothing to you. Of course, slavery is the worst thing that ever happened. Of course,
everybody's like, where's he going? Where's he going with this?
Black people in America, Jews in Egypt. Every time a whole race of people has been enslaved, it's a terrible, horrible thing. Of course. But maybe every incredible human achievement in history was done with slaves. Every single thing where you go, how did they build those pyramids? They just threw human death and suffering at them until they were finished. How did we traverse the nation with a railroad so quickly? We just threw Chinese people in caves and blew them up and didn't give a shit what happened to them. There's no end to what you can do when you don't give a fuck about particular people. You can do anything. That's where human greatness comes from, is that we're shitty people, that we fuck others over. Even today, how do we have this amazing microtechnology? Because the factory where they're making these, they jump off the fucking roof because it's a nightmare in there. You really have a choice. You can have candles and horses and be a little kinder to each other, or let someone suffer immeasurably far away just so you can leave a mean comment on YouTube while you're taking a shit.
Now, there are people out there who will be absolutely 100% offended on behalf of the make-believe people in these comedy specials, right? But I think people forget that these are jokes. And where would comedy be? What kind of jokes could we tell if we thought that somebody was going to be offended by every single thing? There would be no more comedy. Everybody would just always be outraged about something on behalf of somebody else. Oof, this world would be a sadder place. Fortunately, there are still a few comics out there who push that line, and I think it has a lot to do with delivery and timing. If you go back and look at comedians like Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, these people weren't afraid to push the boundaries. And honestly, the stuff that like Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor especially talked about and even did on Saturday Night Live would be canceled today. And that's really kind of sad. Like we're slowly losing our sense of humor. So hopefully we will still see comedians like Louis C.K., like Andrew Schultz, Dave Chappelle, people who aren't afraid to keep pushing those boundaries and joke about things that some people might not want to hear. I think it really keeps us able to laugh at ourselves and not take everything so seriously. I've said this hundreds of times. Back in the day when I grew up, before all of this nonsense, we were able to joke with our friend group, all different ethnicities, and nobody got butthurt about it. We would just laugh and go, yeah, that's a good one. I can take a joke. They could take a joke. But now, like, full-grown adults can't take a joke. So I think that's one of the great things about stand-up comedians is they do their own thing. They are their own writers. They don't have to stick to a script that another writer does for them if they were on SNL or something like that. The 80s and 90s was probably like the golden age of SNL. I don't even watch it anymore because I don't find it funny. It's all just political. They're pushing their own views on other people instead of just making funny comedy skits. Rest in peace to those wonderful SNL comedians like Chris Farley and Phil Hartman and Norm Macdonald. That was a time when they were truly funny. So thank you for this request, everyone. I would love to do more, so please leave me some more suggestions. I hope everybody out there is having a wonderful day. And as I always say, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.